This conference will now be recorded.
A warm evening to one and all present here. Myself, Dr. Renuka Devi Ravi, on the behalf of Department of Science and Humanities, welcome you all to the webinar on minimalistic approach for environmental pollution. This webinar will be hosted by Tejaswini of CSE. Over to you, Tejaswini.
Thank you, ma'am. Success usually comes to those who are too busy to be looking for it. Good evening to one and all present here. I hope all are doing well. I am Tejaswani from CSE Department of Loyola Institute of Technology. I welcome you all for this wonderful webinar on minimalist approach for environmental pollution. Prayer is a search of the heart. It is a simple look turned toward heaven. It is a cry of recognition and of love, embracing both trial and joy. Now I call upon Jyotika and Juhita of CSE department to lead us with a word of prayer. Over to you, Jyotika.
Thank you, Tejaswani. Today's Bible verses is taken from the book of Psalm. May
This
He grant
conference
you
will now
according
be
to your
recorded.
heart's desire and fulfill all your purpose. We will rejoice in your salvation, and in the name of our God, we will set up our banners. May the Lord fulfill all your patience. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks to the Lord. Over to Juhita.
Thank you, Jyotika. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. The kingdom comes, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Over to the Tejaswani.
Thank you, Jyotika and Juhita. We would like to extend a special welcome to the speaker of the day. Now I call upon Abhinaya of EEE department to deliver the welcome address. Over to you, Abhinaya.
Thank you, Teju. My warm welcome to everyone gathered here in this pleasant evening. It's my pleasure to extend a cheerful welcome to all on behalf of Loyola Institute of Technology Management, Administrator, Principal Dr. Sujata Anand Ma'am, Vice Principal cum HOD of ECE Department, Dr. L. Nalini Joseph Ma'am, and faculty members of Science and Humanity Department. We wholeheartedly welcome all the participants for this webinar. On behalf of the department, we welcome our speaker of today's session, Dr. A. Kishan, Assistant Professor in Panimala Institute of Technology. We welcome you wholeheartedly for the webinar on Minimalist Approach for Environmental Pollution. In this context, I welcome all the coordinators of this webinar, faculty members, professionals and friends to make this happen. Dear participants, once again, I welcome you all for this wonderful technical day. Thank you. Over to you, Teju.
Thank you, Abhinaya. May I call upon Jayashree of CSE department to introduce our speaker. Over to you, Jayashree.
Good evening to one and all gathered here. I am Jayashree from the Department of CSE, and it gives me immense pleasure to introduce our resource person, Dr. A. Kishan, Assistant Professor, Panimala Institute of Technology, Chennai. His areas of expertise are organic chemistry, photochemistry, medical chemistry, engineering chemistry, and environmental chemistry. He has totally 13 years of teaching experience. He pursued BSc Chemistry in Pachyapas College and completed his PG in Chemistry at DHT Vaishnava College. And also he received his PhD in Medical Chemistry. He won the Best Presentation Award and participated more than 15 national conferences, and he presented a paper in second international conferences. Also published more than 20 publications and journals. In addition, he is the reviewer of prominent journals such as Oriental Journal Chemistry and International Research Journal of Pure and Applied Chemistry. I'm very happy he is with us to make the session more interesting and knowledgeable. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation and giving your precious time for us. We all are eagerly waiting for your wonderful session, sir.
Shall I start, ma'am?
Yeah, sir, you share your screen, please, sir.
Okay, ma'am. First of all, I should introduce myself. So I am Dr. Christian. As you told, I am Dr. Christian from Panimala Institute of Technology. First of all, good evening to one and all joined here for this webinar today. First and foremost, I would Institute of Technology and webinar coordinators Dr. R. Renuka Devi, Dr. P. Surender Anand for organizing this wonderful webinar, and my sincere thanks to convener Mrs. Mognamba to offer this great opportunity to share my thoughts on minimalist approaches for environmental pollution. It is a great pleasure for me to interact with young minds from Loyola Institute of Technology, and I feel very happy about it. Before getting onto the presentation, I once again welcome you all. I request all your participation to have the session more interactive and lively. Please feel free to raise your question so that we all could benefit from it. Let me start my presentation today. So, shall I share my screen, ma'am?
Yeah, sir, of course.
Okay. Okay, is it visible?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay, thank you. So today our topic is minimalist approaches for environmental pollution. So nowadays environmental pollution is a major problem for in our circumstance. So due to major environmental pollution, so much ecological system is damaged. So that we are going to discuss the environmental pollution today webinar. So first of all, we should know what is a pollution. The pollution is nothing but the contamination of environment and unwanted alteration of the surrounding and decreases the quality of air, water, and soil under our circumstance. It affects the health of human being, animal being, and also plant species. Okay, so let us discuss what are the type of pollution. There are 7 category of pollution. The pollution number 1, air pollution. Number 2, water pollution. Number 3, soil pollution. Number 4, fourth one, marine pollution. Fifth one, noise pollution. Sixth one, thermal pollution. Seventh one, nuclear assaults. Nuclear assaults also known as nuclear pollution. So let me start air pollution. So what is meant by air pollution? The contamination of our atmosphere by dust particle or smoke is called as air pollution. So our atmosphere composition is nitrogen 78%, oxygen 21%, argon less than 1%, carbon dioxide 0.37, only 0.37%, water vapor remaining, and ozone, helium, and ammonia trace amount present in our atmosphere. So sources of air pollution, there are 2 types of sources, natural sources and man-made sources. So what is meant by natural sources? The air pollutant which are created by naturally without man-made support is called as natural air pollution. Man-made air pollutant is nothing but the pollutant which are created by man-made activities like the pollutant coming from domestic area and industrial area and other medical blood bank, etc. Next, classification of air pollutant. There are 2 types of pollutant. The air pollution formed by due to the presence of air pollutants. It can be classified into 3 categories. Number 1, primary pollutant. Number 2, secondary pollutant. Number 3, indoor air pollutant. So due to the presence of these kind of air pollutant, our air atmosphere is polluted. The first primary pollutant. What is meant by primary pollutant? The air pollutant which are emitted directly in the atmosphere without any man-made support. Okay, sir, example, carbon dioxide, nitrogen oxide, sulfur dioxide, carbon dioxide are emitted directly from atmosphere without any reaction formation. These are called as primary pollutant. Secondary pollutant is nothing but the pollutant which are created by the combination of primary pollutant and basic material present in atmosphere like water. For example, if carbon dioxide is primary pollutant, this carbon dioxide may react with water vapor present in atmosphere to form carbonic acid. Similarly, nitrogen oxide to form nitric acid, sulfur dioxide to form sulfuric acid. So which are known as secondary pollutant. These are secondary pollutant. Nitric acid, carbonic acid, sulfuric acid. These are secondary pollutant. And indoor pollutant, the pollutant which are created indoor level. For example, radon. So radon is one of the important indoor pollutant which are emitted by the indoor materials such as tiles, concrete, bricks, etc. Next, common air pollutant and sources. So let us discuss what are the common air pollutant and what are the causes of air pollution. First one is air pollution. Common air pollution is carbon monoxide. So carbon monoxide is a major air pollutant of in the atmosphere. So the formula of carbon monoxide is CO. It is a colorless and odorless gases. It is more injurious to human and animal health. So how it is formed, this carbon monoxide in the atmosphere? Incombustible substance or incombustible fuel, and during burning process it is formed. For example, coal or fuel containing containing main constant carbon. When they are undergoes incomplete combustion reaction, that coal can react with oxygen to form only carbon monoxide instead of carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide toxicity is less than carbon monoxide because carbon monoxide is more injurious to human health and animal health compared to carbon dioxide. So it is formed from cigarette smoking, incomplete combustion of fossil fuels. About 77% of carbon monoxide obtained from motor vehicles and power plants. And the health effect of carbon monoxide formed in the atmosphere. First one is due to the presence of carbon monoxide in the atmosphere, it leads to lung irritation and lung damage. Okay, it gives some. We are suffering from so much lung disease due to the presence of carbon monoxide. When we are exposed to carbon monoxide atmosphere, we are suffering from lung irritation and lung damage. And environmental health effect. So due to the presence of carbon monoxide can damage building and fabrics because carbon monoxide may oxidize to carbon dioxide. That carbon dioxide may react with water vapor present in atmosphere to form carbonic acid. That carbonic acid can damage building and fabric. Carbon monoxide also form acid rain because of carbon monoxide easily to convert into carbon dioxide, which is acidic gases. So it can affect soil fertility also because when carbon monoxide converted into carbon dioxide, it is easily converted into carbonic acid. It decreases the pH of the soil fertility. So soil fertility can easily affected by due to the presence of carbon monoxide. So next air pollutant is sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide also one of the primary air pollutant. Its formula is SO2. When sulfur dioxide present in our atmosphere, it is easily converted into sulfuric acid. SO2 plus H2O present in atmosphere, I mean water vapor, it leads to H2SO4. The sulfur oxide also cause of acid rain. Okay, the sulfur oxide, when the sulfur oxide released by industries and the natural activities, they may react with water vapor, I mean water cloud. Okay, so during rain season, that water molecule can react with this sulfur dioxide to form sulfuric acid, which is called as acid rain. So sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, one of the major source of acid rain. Description of sulfur dioxide. Sulfur dioxide is a colorless and irritation gas. We can it is formed from burning of coal and other fuels. It is converted into sulfuric acid very easily through oxidation reaction. Next, human source. 88% of sulfur dioxide emitted by power plant. Remaining 10% of sulfur dioxide emitted by industrial process. So 2% other process like volcanic eruption like that. And health effect of sulfur dioxide in the atmosphere, it gives a breathing problem. So when our body exposed to sulfur dioxide environment, it gives a breathing problem for us. Environmental effect, it reduces visibility. So when sulfur dioxide present in our circumstance, it reduces visibility. It forms some smoke like that. And sulfuric acid formed from sulfur dioxide can damage trees, plants, soil fertility, and aquatic life. Next, suspended particulate matter, also known as SPM. So SPM, also known as suspended particulate matter, it is indissolved particles and indissolved droplet present in atmosphere. And human sources 40% of burning of coal. So when coal is used for fuel purpose, it is emitted suspended particulate matter. Burning of diesel, burning of diesel produce 70% of suspended particulate matter in our atmosphere, and the rest of the composition emitted by agriculture and construction activities. The health effect of sulfur dioxide, nose and throat infection. Okay, it creates nose and throat infection and lung damage, asthma, cancer. Environmental effect of suspended particulate matter, it reduces visibility and suspended particulate matter can damage plants and the other environmental plants. Next, ozone. Ozone also one of the important air pollutant. Ozone is a tri-atom molecule of oxygen which is unstable. It is formed in the layer of troposphere in the atmosphere. Okay, so it is highly reactive because usually more unreactive molecule is O2. When O2 consists of extra one oxygen, it forms O3 molecule which is highly reactive. Highly reactive is nothing but highly unstable, easily react with any other molecule. Okay, it gives irritation gas. It is an irritation gas, unpleasant odor. It forms in the troposphere. It is a major component of photochemical smog. So photochemical smog it is an important role. Okay, it's an important role towards O3 molecules to formation of photochemical smog. Next, humans versus O3 molecule, nitrogen dioxide. When nitrogen oxide burning in fuel reactions, it produces O3 molecules. And volatile organic compound emitted O3 molecules. Environmental effect, it moderates climate. When ozone layer thickness decreases, I mean ozone layer depletion occur, it modifies climate. Increase the temperature leads to global warming. And photochemical smog. So it is also one of the important air pollutant. It is a brown smoke. It is formed by automobiles. It is a combination of a reaction between nitrogen dioxide and hydrocarbon. Okay, the vehicle produce some gases. That gases consist of some nitrogen dioxide and hydrocarbon. When they are combined each other, they form photochemical smog. Health effect of photochemical smog, it gives breathing problem for both human and animals. It causes cough and heart disease, eye irritation, nose irritation, throat irritation. Environmental effect of photochemical smog, ozone layer depletion, it reduces the visibility, it can damage plant and trees. So from this, all type of air pollutant can damage environmental pollution, environment as well as trees and plants. Last one is lead. So lead is a solid particle. It is also one of the air pollutant which damage composition of our atmosphere. It is emitted by so much chemical factory and dye factory and the paint factory, then leather factory. It is a toxic solid, toxic metal. It can emit particulates, I mean suspended particulate matters. A human sources of lead, paint, smelter, storage, batteries, and petrol emitting lead particles to the environment, which produce air pollution. Health effect of lead, so damage brain and whole down system, mental retardation, digestive problems, and cancer in test animals. So from this, we came to that lead is a more toxic metal. Next, how to control air pollution. So air pollution can be controlled by source control. Source control means use only unleaded petrol. So now only we discussed lead is one of the important air pollutant and more toxic. Usually people are using fuels like petrol and diesel, which consist of some petrol. The petrol consists of lead is called as leaded petrol. If you use leaded petrol, it increases efficiency of the motor vehicle efficiency, but it creates pollutions. Okay, use only unleaded petrol. If you use only unleaded petrol, you can avoid the pollution obtained by lead. They use these fuels, the low ash content and sulfur content. So much fuels consist of not only carbon. So what is meant by fuels? The fuel which consists of carbon and which undergoes combustion reaction with oxygen is called as fuels. But the fuels which we are using, petrol, diesel, coal, they may have some amount of ash content, sulfur content, nitrogen content also. So if you use a low percentage of ash content and sulfur content fuel for our combustion process, we can avoid air pollutants. And the people should be encouraged to walk and cycle, go by using cycle. Because of if you go by walk or go by cycle means you can no need to use any fuels. So if you not use any fuels, there is no formation of any air pollution. And private vehicles should be stopped. Okay, so if you want, you can go by government bus. Okay, in order to avoid excess of fuel combustion. And the school, parks, houses, and restaurants should be away from the pollutions. Plantation of trees and the plant in a busy street is we can avoid carbon dioxide. If you plant so many number of trees, okay, the trees can absorb carbon dioxide, which reduce air pollution. Okay, it gives oxygen. And industries and waste disposal should be disposed in the dry area, and the emission of the carbon dioxide and hydrocarbon should be catalytically controlled. So much companies and industries are emitting carbon dioxide and hydrocarbons every day in the form of effluent, in the form of gas. Okay, so by using some catalytically controller, there are some chemicals and catalyst reagent. If you use that catalytic reagent, you can avoid the formation of excess formation of carbon dioxide, hydrocarbon from industries. Next, control measure of air pollutant in industries by using some equipments. So in two ways we can control air pollution, through source control and through using some equipments. There are some equipments which is absorb excess of pollutant emitted by companies, emitted by industries. So like wet scrubber, cyclone separator, and baghouse filter. So these are the devices which are absorbing excess of pollutant created by industries. Okay, if you use this wet scrubber, cyclone separator, and baghouse filter, it can absorb more than 80% of air pollutant formed by that particular industries. So these are the baghouse filter, and this is a it is a baghouse filter, cyclone separator, and then wet scrubber. These are the three instruments. So first on air pollution over. So let us start water pollution. So water pollution is nothing but it is a changes of physical and chemical and biological characteristics of water due to the presence of some pollutant in water resources. So this water pollution may cause harmful effect on human being and aquatic life. Okay, so the pollutant the pollutant present in water bodies is like sewage, industrial waste, oil, and other wastes, chemical dissolved in the rainwater, and fertilizer, pesticide, herbicides. These are the pollutants which are creating water pollution. Water types and effect of sources of water pollution. First one is the infection agent. So infectious agent is an important role to create water pollution, like bacteria, viruses, protozoa, and parasite worms. So these are the infectious agent creating air pollution first. And human sources of infection agent is anatomical wastes, animal wastes. So effect of infectious wastes, the variety of disease, it produces variety of disease. Like biomedical waste. If you are throwing biomedical waste into water bodies like lake, river, it creates some infectious agent. It leads to infectious agent which creates so much disease for us. Next one, oxygen demanding wastes like biological oxygen demand, animal manure and plant debris. Example, human sources, sewage, animal feed rods, and paper mills, food processing companies creating this kind of wastes. So these wastes adverse effects are depletion of water of dissolved oxygen, and fish and other aquatic life die because of due to the presence of these oxygen demanding wastes, which reduce dissolved oxygen present in water bodies like lake, river, pond, ocean. They reduce the dissolved oxygen, which is more useful for aquatic life. So aquatic life, the animals and plants using oxygen present in aquatic bodies. That aquatic bodies oxygen will be reduces due to the presence of this oxygen demanding wastes. Next, inorganic chemicals. Apart from carbon and hydrogen, some inorganic chemicals are also polluting water bodies, like acids, inorganic acids, H2SO4, HNO3, and acetic acid, and lead, arsenic, selenium, sodium chloride, and fluoride. These kind of inorganic substances can be used by so many industries which polluting near water bodies through their wastewater. And human sources, surface runoff, industrial effluent, and the cleaners, some household cleaners. Effect of inorganic chemicals. Fresh water will be contaminated thoroughly. Water defect for the irrigation and drinking, and skin cancer and neck damage. Next, harmful for fish and other aquatic lives. So lower crop yield and corrosion of metals. Next, organic chemicals such as oil, gasoline, plastics, pesticides, and detergent. So these are the organic chemicals which are polluting water bodies. Human source of organic chemicals like industrial effluent, household cleaners, and surface runoff. Next, effect of organic chemicals damage the nerve system, cause some cancer, harmful for fish and other aquatic lives. Plant nutrients. So plant nutrients also one of the water pollutant. Example, a compound containing nitrate, phosphate, and ammonium. So these nitrate, phosphate, ammonium highly used by farmers for their cultivation purpose. When they are using excess of nitrate, phosphate, ammonium fertilizers, they are reach into near water bodies through runoff, which pollute the near water bodies. Human sources, sewage, manure, and runoff fertilizers. Effect of plant nutrients, excess of growth of algae and aquatic plants, so deplete dissolved oxygen in water. It kills the fish and other aquatic animals present in water bodies, and it decreases the dissolved oxygen in the water level. If water level will be reduced, aquatic life will be damaged. Next one is radioactive materials. These radioactive materials used by hospital, research center, and other scientific center. For example, iodine, phosphate, radon, uranium. So like that used by so much industries. So these are the elements producing radioactive radiation through reaction, which pollute the near water bodies. Human sources, atomic power station, nuclear power plant, and isolation and power production and isolation separation of isotopes. And genetic, it creates a genetic mutation, birth defect, and cancers. Last one is heat. So heat also one of the water pollutant. When excess of heat mixed in water bodies, it raises the temperature of it increases the temperature of water bodies. When 1 degree of Celsius temperature increases water bodies, aquatic life will be damaged. So usually usually water body temperature is 25 to 30 degrees Celsius. When increase the temperature 30 to 40 degrees, all aquatic life will be damaged. So effect of water pollution, due to water pollutant present in water bodies, it decreases the dissolved oxygen content in the water level. It makes a disease on the water organism. If a dissolved oxygen content is decreases, it leads to disease on water organism like snake, fish, crab, etc. And toxic chemicals dissolve in water bodies. Fishes are killed. Thermal shock takes place. Thermal shock means suddenly increase the temperature of water bodies. So it means changes the temperature and water bodies and discharge of hot water from power plant. Power plant and thermal power plant, nuclear power plant, and some other industries are allowed to pass so much effluent every day, which is more hot into near water bodies. And control and measure of water bodies. So how to control water pollution? Water pollution can be controlled by through government, state government or central government. State government or central government. State government, water pollution should be controlled by state government or central government. Scientific methods should be followed by pollution control, like a catalytic method, and some instrument can be used, some devices. And industrial effluent should be recycled. Discharge of effluent into water bodies should be stopped. And plants and trees, forest control way the pollution. So extra plantation and extra tree, afforestation, we can control water pollution. Next, deforestation should be stopped. Trees reduce the sulfur dioxide in the atmosphere, and domestic wastewater may be used for gardening purposes. Domestic wastewater we cannot allow to pass into their water bodies. That water can be replaced for gardening purpose or toilet purpose. So in that manner we can avoid somewhat water pollution. Public awareness. Government only cannot be controlled water pollution, any type of pollution, without without public participation. So we people should cooperate with government, and the public awareness through TV and radio and some other public instrument, and a law and the rules to protect the water should be framed. Okay, next, wastewater and sewage water treatment. So water only important source for all living beings. So without water, there not be any living beings on the earth's surface. So sewage water or wastewater, how to treat it? Okay, this sewage water can be treated in 4 ways, in 4 steps. primary treatment, secondary, preliminary treatment, primary treatment, secondary treatment, tertiary treatment. If you complete all these 4 treatment, you can use sewage water or wastewater as a drinking water. Okay, so why we should do sewage water treatment? In order to eliminate oddness of the water, in order to eliminate the bad smell from the water, in order to remove the solid waste in the sewage, to kill or remove the disease-producing microorganisms like bacteria and virus in the water bodies. So lake water, river water coming from so many rivers and lake, that can be utilized as drinking water after completing all this treatment. The treatment number 1, preliminary treatment, number 2, secondary treatment, number 3, tertiary, number 1, preliminary treatment, number 2, primary treatment, number 3, secondary treatment, number 4, tertiary treatment. So preliminary treatment, first of all, the water which is coming from directly sewage or river or lake, that can be treated through preliminary process. The preliminary process is nothing but the process in which the removal of solid and suspended particle removed by passing water through big size screen. The screen consists of number of holes. Okay, so in that in this method we can remove floating material, suspended solid particles, and other wood particles and paper particles like that. Okay, so what is a primary treatment? The process of removal of floating materials, and suspended particles and wood particles, etc. This is called as primary treatment, preliminary treatment. Second one is a primary treatment. So primary treatment is nothing but the process of removal of organic and inorganic solid present in sewage water by using some chemicals like alum or ferrous sulfate added. This alum and ferrous sulfate created some gelatinous precipitate in water which can absorb inorganic and organic solid present in water. This is in that manner we can remove organic and inorganic solid. And secondary treatment is nothing but a removal of BOD, biological oxygen demand. The secondary treatment is nothing but the process of removal of BOD from sewage water. So first we have to complete preliminary treatment. We have to remove, through preliminary treatment we can remove floating materials, suspended particles, and other wood particles, papers like that. And secondary primary treatment is nothing but the process of removal of organic and inorganic solid present in water by using chemicals like alum and ferrous sulfate, which create gelatinous precipitate. The gelatin precipitate can absorb organic and inorganic substance present in water. Next is secondary treatment. After removal of floating particles, organic substance and inorganic substance, we can remove biological pollutants like BOD. Okay, so the BOD can be removed by secondary treatment. This secondary treatment can done in 2 methods: trickling process and activated sludge process. BOD can be removed by trickling process and activated sludge process. This is a trickling process diagram. So it consists of one circular tank. The tank is filled with crushed rock, small gravels filled in that circular tank. The sewage is spraying over this rock, and a slow rotating arm is sprayed is used. Okay, that rotator will be rotating while spraying the sewage water. After completing first 2 treatment, the sewage water allowed to spray over that rotator. That rotator is slowly rotating. Okay, rotating. The microorganism present in that sewage water will be absorbed by that rock bed. Okay, that crushed rock. Okay, because that crushed rock used to grow microorganism. That microorganism food is the BOD present in water. That microorganism will be absorbed. That BOD present in that water. Okay. Next, when sewage moves downwards, microorganisms grow on rock surface. Food for the microorganisms is organic matter in sewage water. So after aerobic oxidation, sewage goes into settling tank. In settling tank, sludges are removed. By this process, we can remove up to 85% of BOD. BOD fuel form biological oxygen demand. Next one is activated sludge process. So it is another method. The tertiary treatment we can done in 2 methods. First one is trickling process. Second one is activated sludge process. Activated sludge process is nothing but the process which carried out by using activated sludge to remove biological activation sewage, biological oxygen demand. Okay, in this method, we can remove only up to 95% of the BOD. But through the trickling process, we can remove only 85% of BOD. But in activated sludge process, we can remove 95% of BOD. Next, tertiary treatment. So first preliminary treatment, we removed floating material, and for primary treatment, we removed organic and inorganic substance present in water by using alum. And secondary treatment, we removed BOD up to 90%. Okay, tertiary treatment. Now the rest of the inorganic and organic substance as well as some BOD may escape into water. That will be removed completely by tertiary treatment by using some chemicals method. Okay, so BOD is removed by this method. The method is a tertiary method. The lime is added. The lime chemical is added into the effluent in the flocculation tank. Phosphates are removed. Okay, so phosphates are present in that water. That phosphate can be removed by this lime. So next, effluent passed into ammonia tower. So ammonia is removed as gas in the tower. Okay, so minute organic wastes may be there, that will be removed by absorption, charcoal absorption. So finally, the effluent is added with chlorine, bleaching powder. Okay, if there is any microorganism and bacteria, that will be destroyed by adding calcium oxychloride, which is called as bleaching powder. By adding chlorine powder, we can remove all the bacteria and virus present in that water. So the water coming from tertiary treatment is pure water, which can be utilized for domestic purpose, drinking purpose, industrial purpose, etc. Okay, this is the treatment of sewage water and polluted water. Okay, so polluted water and sewage water can be treated in these methods. First of all, we should do preliminary treatment. Second one, primary treatment. Third one, secondary treatment, and fourth one, tertiary treatment, and fifth one is a disposal of sludges. So now we completed 4 methods in this, and the second and third process, we may got some amount of sludges wastes. That sludges wastes do not dump directly. Okay, so you do not dispose directly. It should be disposed carefully. Okay, this disposal of sludges can be dumped into low-lying area or burning of sludge. Okay, so it can be dumped, it can be buried into deep earth or burning process, incineration process, and dumping into the sea, or it can be utilized as a low-grade fertilizer, because it is also one of the pollutants. So if you dispose without carefulness, okay, it creates some air pollution and soil pollution. So while disposing sludge, we are supposed to dispose properly. Okay, through dumping or through burning or through dumping into sea, or using it as low-grade fertilizers for farming processes. So now we completed air pollution, water pollution. What is air pollution? What are the causes of air pollution? What are the effects of water pollution? And what are the effects, how to control of air pollution, water pollution and air pollution? Next is soil pollution. So soil pollution is nothing but the contamination of soil by human and industrial activities, so which may cause harmful effect to our environment. Okay, composition. First of all, what is soil? Soil is a combination of some chemicals. Okay, so soil is another substance. It is a combination of some chemicals, like it consists of inorganic minerals, organic matter, soil water, and soil air. So 45% of on proper fertility soil should contain the following composition. When soil is fertility soil means that should contain some following composition, like 45% of inorganic minerals should be there, 5% of organic matter should be present in soil, 2.5% is soil water, and 25% of soil water and 25% of soil air. Okay, the soil which obey this composition, that soil is known as fertility land, fertility soil. So what are the types of soil pollution? Types and the effect and sources of soil pollution. Soil pollution created by through industrial wastes, urban wastes, agriculture practices, radioactive pollutants, and biological agents. So what is the industrial wastes? Each and every day, so much tons of solid waste created by industries. So there is no any industry without making any solid waste. When they are disposing that solid waste, they are disposing under near cultivation land or residential area, which leads to soil pollution. And urban wastes. So urban wastes due to excess of population, they are creating so much wastage each and every day. Agriculture practices like they are using chemical fertilizer, chemical pesticides, and so much chemical product they are used for our cultivation, crop yield, in order to get crop yield. And radioactive pollutions and power plant, thermal power plant using radioactive element which produce radioactive waste such as barium, krypton, iodine they are using. It produce radioactive waste which creates soil pollution. And biological agent is nothing but the pollutant which are created by healthcare centers such as a blood bank, nursing home, hospital, and biotechnology lab, microbiology lab. So they are creating so much soil pollution each and every day. So industrial wastes, example, pulp industry, paper industry, chemical industries, oil refineries, sugar factory, tanneries, textile industries, steel industries, distilleries industries, fertilizers industries, pesticide industries, coal, minerals, mining industries, drug industry, glass industry, cement industry, etc., etc. So there are so many industries are there. Every industries are creating so much soil pollution every day. And the urban wastes are example, garbage and rubbish materials, plastics, glasses, fibers, rubbers, fuels, materials, etc. And agriculture practices, fertilizers, pesticides, and herbicides. Radioactive wastes producing some radioactive elements such as nitrogen. Yes, ma'am. Nitrogen isotopes such as nitrogen 15, strontium isotopes, strontium 90, iodine isotopes 190, iodine 129, cesium waste, cesium isotopes 137, and ruthenium isotopes 106, iodine, another iodine isotopes 131, barium isotopes 140. These are the creating radioactive pollutant of soil pollution. And biological agent, already I have told you, biological wastes, human wastes, anatomical wastes, animal wastes, birds, excreta, etc. Next, control of soil pollution. So how to control the soil pollution? Farm activities are increased for at 2 times per year. Farm activities. So if you increase farm activities, it will be enhance so fertility of soil. And population growth should be controlled. Urbanization should be avoided. So reducing deforestation, proper dumping of unwanted material. They are not supposed to dumping near cultivation area. Waste of human and animal from chronic crops. Next, open dumping method should be changed. Open dumping method should be changed. They have to dumping into deep earth. And the controlled tripping method should be followed. Production of natural fertilizers. They can use natural fertilizers instead of chemical fertilizers. Proper hygienic conditions should be followed. Public awareness is very much to avoid soil pollution. Next, soil pollution over. Next is noise pollution. So noise pollution is nothing but unwanted or unpleasant sound in our circumstances. Okay, which cause harmful to all living things in our circumstances. Unwanted or unpleasant or undesirable sound. So, like this noise pollution created by only 3 sources: industrial noise, transport noise, neighborhood noise. Industrial, transport, and neighborhood noise. What is industrial noise? The noise which are created by machines, mechanical saw and drilling produces noise, and factories and produce enormous noise. These are the industry noise. And transport noise. Transport noise is nothing but road traffic noise, railway traffic noise, motor car, motorcycle, buses, lorry, jeep, etc. And neighborhood noise such as disturbance from household communities like musical instruments, TV, radio, transistor, loudspeaker, etc., etc. So these are neighborhood noise. Only these sources are creating noise pollution. The effect of noise pollution. We are supposed to listen what are the effect of noise pollution. It leads to so much adverse effect for us. It affects the excess of noise affect the human health and comfort and efficiency of human. And it causes blood vessels, because it causes increase of thickness of blood. Next, make the skin pale. High blood pressure, mental distress due to excess of noise. Heart attack, sometimes heart attack, it leads to heart attack and birth defect and nerves breakdown. And tension, so changes the hormone content in the blood due to excess of noise. So increase the rate of the heartbeat, It causes a damage to kidney, brain, impairment of hearing systems. If you hear excess of noise every minute, it leads to impairment of hearing system, loss of hearing capability at a pathological disorder. So excess of noise affect the respiratory system and cardiovascular system. Blood is thickened by excess of noise. And the control of measure of excess of noise pollution. The noise pollution can be controlled in 3 ways: source control, transmission path intervention control, receptor control. So what is meant by source control? The noise pollution controlled by acoustic treatment to machine and design and limiting operation times. By making proper design and the proper machine, we can control noise pollution. And transmission path intervention, sound insulating enclosure. So in order to avoid noise pollution, we can place the insulator between two friction posts. I mean two metal surface. If you place the insulator, you can control noise. And provision of sound absorbing material in that particular industries, and construction of sound barrier. Okay, by using construction of sound barrier building. There are some construction building is there which can absorb sound easily, even though there are more sound. And receptor control is provision of personal protection devices, such as production of a receiver by altering the work schedule, earplug for operating noisy machinery. Earplug. So if you use your earplug, you can avoid that excess of sound created from machine. So the noise pollution over. Next, thermal pollution. So thermal is nothing but heat. Okay, addition of excess of heat to water bodies is called as thermal pollution. This excess of heat makes harmful to living things. So already I have told you, if heat is increased in water bodies, it retard dissolved oxygen present in water bodies, which destroy all aquatic animals and plants. Okay, so what is meant by thermal pollution? Excess of heat to the water bodies, which makes harmful to living things present in water bodies. This excess of heat produced by industrial effluent and domestic effluent, etc. And sources of thermal pollution: thermal power plant, coal-fired power plant, industrial effluents, domestic sewage, hydroelectric power plant. The wastes coming from all these 5 sources are allowed to pass into near water bodies like river, lake, etc., pond, etc., which increase the temperature of that particular water bodies. Okay, so what are the sources of thermal pollution? Thermal power plant, the wastes coming from thermal power plant, wastes coming from coal-fired power plant, wastes coming from industrial effluent, wastes coming from domestic sewage, hydroelectric power plant. So all these sources are creating excess of heat to near water bodies. Okay, so what are effect of thermal pollution? Reduction of dissolved oxygen. I told you, if temperature increases water bodies at least 10 degree, usually 25 to 30 degrees is a normal temperature of water bodies like lake, river. When it increases up to 35 to 40 degrees Celsius temperature, its dissolved oxygen level will be reduced. So which affect the aquatic animal present in that water bodies, and photosynthesis process also destroyed, affected, and increases in toxicity. If excess of temperature increases in water bodies, it increases the toxicity of some chemicals present in water bodies. For example, if water bodies contain KCN, when you are rising temperature of that particular water bodies, it increases the KCN concentration in that water bodies. Okay. Next, interference of biological activities. Due to excess of heat, it controls the respiratory and digestive and excretion system of the water aquatic animals. Next, interference of reproduction. Okay, breeding and the reproduction are affected by the high temperature, like a fish and crab, snake present in water bodies. And like direct mortality, the continuously increase the temperature of water bodies, it directly leads to death of aquatic animals, fish, like fish. And food storage for fish. Usually fish used to store some food for future purpose. Due to change in temperature, it destroyed that the food storage will be destroyed by the excess of temperature. So control measure of thermal pollution. The thermal pollution in water bodies can be controlled in 4 ways by using cooling tower. So what is meant by cooling tower? The tower which used to absorb heat present in water bodies is called as cooling tower. The cooling towers are designed to reduce the temperature of water. Cooling tower spread the heat from all the surrounding by evaporation. There are two types of cooling tower, namely wet cooling tower and dry cooling tower. It is a wet cooling tower. The heat water coming directly coming from industries allowed to pass into this wet cooling tower, where in that wet cooling tower there is one exhaust fan is fixed. That exhaust fan is rotating by operated while spraying this sewage water. Okay, this due to this rotating this exhaust fan inside of tower, it can absorb heat from that water. I mean sewage water. That water is dissipated to atmosphere. That hot water become cool water. The wet cooling tower, dry cooling tower. So it is a dry cooling tower by passing some air by passing the hot water in a double side of the tank by passing some air inside of the tower. That gas, that cooling air can absorb heat from that hot water. That hot water will be converted into normal water. Next, cooling ponds. So heat can be dissipated by using cooling ponds. It is a simplest method of cooling discharge, and heated effluent transferred to the cooling pond, and water surface dissipated the heat to atmosphere. So water area minimized and the volume is reduced. Next, spray pond. The water coming from industries, hot water coming from industry, I mean effluent coming from industries or domestic area, allowed to pass a number of pipes. The pipes consist of number of nozzles. Okay, the nozzles. The water is sprayed through the nozzles, like droplets. Okay, in the form of fine droplet, which reduce the heat, which dissipated the heat to the atmosphere. The artificial lakes. So these are man-made bodies of water body. So the heat effluent can be discharged into the lake at one end of the lake, and the cooling tower is within the other end. So thermal pollution is over, and nuclear pollution. So nuclear pollution is nothing but the pollution which are created through the nuclear reaction, like nuclear fission and nuclear fusion reaction. We know what is the nuclear fission reaction, fusion reaction. Fission reaction is a bombardment of heavier nuclei by slow neutron into split into two or more smaller nuclei, which produce enormous amount of heat energy. Similarly, nuclear fusion reaction is nothing but a combination of two or more smaller nuclei to form heavier nuclei in order to produce large amount of heat energy. So both heat energy as well as some radioactive elements are produced. Okay, the pollutant which are created through this nuclear reaction is called as nuclear pollution. The effect of nuclear pollutions are brain damage, central nervous system affected, loss of sight in eyes, vomiting and bleeding and mouth ulcer, blood vessel damage and a red spot on skin, and infection and interstitial walls, brain damage, mental retardation, stable pregnancy due to nuclear pollution. So control of measure of nuclear pollution. So nuclear pollution can be controlled in following ways. Nuclear test should not be in open area. Okay, the nuclear test can be carried out in underground area like that. Nuclear test should be in underground area. Nuclear test reactor should be covered by a strong concrete shield, and production of radioisotopes should be minimized. If you minimize the production of radioisotopes, the radioactive radiation should not be emitted into atmosphere. And a nuclear installation should be controlled and fission reaction should be minimized. Disposal of radioactive waste should be careful. That radioactive waste should be disposed into the sea or deep in earth. Usage of nuclear medicine should be minimized. So nuclear waste is over. Next one is a solid waste management. So solid each and every day there are large number of factories and industries are located in our country. Each and every industries are producing a large quantity of solid waste each and every day. Due to population growth and urbanization, enormous solid wastes are generated. There are 7 million tons of municipal wastes are daily produced by in developed countries such as USA, UK, like that. These are producing environmental pollution due to improper management. So if you not properly dispose this kind of wastes, it leads to so much damages on environment. So types of solid wastes, there are three categories of solid wastes, like urban and municipal wastes, industrial wastes, hazardous wastes. Urban, municipal wastes, industrial solid waste, hazardous solid waste. Sources of urban solid waste. The urban solid waste is generated from domestic waste, commercial waste, construction waste, biomedical waste. Domestic waste is example food waste, cloth waste, paper waste, glass waste, polythene bag, and waste materials, waste metals. Commercial waste such as waste from market, shops, hotel, offices, institutions, waste paper, packing covers, cans, bottles, and polythene bags, etc. Construction waste example from construction material, wood, concrete, debris, etc. And biomedical waste like organic waste material, anatomic waste, infectious waste, etc. Classification of urban waste. Urban wastes can be classified into two categories: biodegradable urban wastes and non-biodegradable urban solid wastes. What is meant by biodegradable urban wastes? The urban wastes which can be degraded easily by a microorganism. The urban wastes which can be degraded by microorganism is called as biodegradable wastes, like food, vegetables, tea leaves, eggshell, dry leaves. These are easily decomposed and degraded by microorganism. And next, non-biodegradable wastes such as urban solid wastes, such as which cannot be degraded by microorganism, like a polythene bag, plastic, polythene bag, scrap metals, and glass bottle, polythene cover, etc. So these are non-biodegradable because they cannot be degraded and decomposed by microorganisms. So what are the steps involved in solid waste management? Through way we can avoid, we can control solid waste. Okay, triple R. So what is meant by triple R? So triple R, expansion of triple R is reduce, reuse, recycle. We are supposed to avoid excess of usage of solid waste. Reduce. Okay, next reuse. If any waste is obtained, any solid waste obtained from our domestic area or industrial area, if it is possible, we can reuse it again. Okay, recycle. The wastes which cannot be reused, if it is possible to recycle, that can be recycled and reused. Okay, if you follow this three way, reduce, reuse, recycle, easily we can avoid solid waste generation in our atmosphere. This is the best way of solid waste management. So reduce the usage of raw materials, reuse of waste material, recycling of materials. These are the best method to control solid waste. What are the process of solid waste management? So solid waste management carried out in the following ways. First of all, we have to find out for solid waste generation. Okay, so wherever solid waste is created, we are supposed to find out that area, that sources. So we have to find out the places where solid waste are generated. The solid waste generation we have to find out. So after finding solid waste generation area, we are supposed to collect all solid wastes from particular area. That is a collection of wastes. Now first we found solid waste generation sources. Next we collected all the solid wastes from all areas, from different hospital, from different industries, from different areas, from different streets, street, etc. And next transported. So after collecting all the wastes, we have to transport the collected wastes away from city. Okay, away from residential area. Okay, so after collecting all the wastes, we have to transport carefully to a disposal area. Next, after transported, we have to storage. Okay, we have to storage the wastes. So after storage, we have to segregate it. Segregation is an important process for solid waste management. So unless proper segregation, we can't control solid waste pollutions. Solid waste pollution. Segregation. If there is any reusable materials that can be separated from that storage solid waste. Next, the waste which cannot be reused and recycled, that can be disposed. The disposed can be done in three methods: landfill, incineration, and composting. So what is a landfill? Landfill is nothing but buried, deep buried in earth. Incineration. So incineration is nothing but burning process. Composting, the conversion of these wastes into low-cost fertilizers. Okay, so solid wastes process or consists of the following process. First one, solid waste generation we have to find out. Next, we have to collect all the wastes from all the generation area. Next, we have to transport to storage area. Next, after transport, we have to segregate it. Reusable, recyclable, and non-reusable. So non-reusable wastes should be disposed properly in three ways, such as landfill, incineration, and composting. So landfill is nothing but deep buried in earth. Incineration is nothing but burning process, or composting is nothing but conversion of that wastes into low-cost fertilizers. Next one is the role of an individual. So now we discuss all the types of pollution in our title. So now each and everyone has own individual responsibility to control pollution. So unless people participation, government alone cannot be controlled all type of pollution unless people participation. So as educated people, we have to participate to control pollution. Okay, so each and everyone has individual responsibility to control pollution. So if possible, we can do some plantation. Okay, so we can control pollution through plantation and slow the population growth. We can by controlling population growth, we can control pollution through plantation. We can control pollution. Use all energies and the resources efficiently. So if you want, you can use electricity power and other fuels, etc. Okay, if not necessary, don't use excess of energy resources and excess of energies. Okay, and you use recyclable product only. Don't use non-recyclable product, because non-recyclable product only create solid wastes. And use CFC free refrigerators. Sir, CFC refrigerator is nothing but chlorofluorocarbon, which create ozone layer depletion. Next, use natural gas than coal. Okay, you can use natural gas instead of LPG, coal, etc. Reduce deforestation. If you avoid deforestation, it increases the oxygen level in atmosphere. It reduces carbon dioxide level through photosynthesis. Use renewable resources only. Okay, don't use non-renewable resources. Remove nitrogen oxide fuel in the for motor vehicles, because this nitrogen oxide creates a photochemical smoke and suspended particulate matters and other air pollutant to our atmosphere. And use a machine in ventilated area, because machine produce some gas pollution. If you use a non-ventilated area, it creates a high density of air pollution. So avoid harmful product like plastic, usage of plastic, polythene cover, etc. Instead of that, you can use cloth bag, etc. Increase the use of eco-friendly product. Eco-friendly product does not create any pollution to our environment. Use a rechargeable battery instead of non-rechargeable battery. You can use a secondary battery, don't use primary battery. And use a manure instead of chemical fertilizers, because using excess of chemical fertilizers like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, they can damage water bodies. So if you use a manure instead of chemical fertilizers, they will not reduce soil fertility as well as they will not damage environment. That's all. Okay, any question? Thank you, Ma. Thank you so much.
Thanks for the wonderful session, sir. It was very knowledgeable and insightful information. This will enrich our knowledge in minimalist approach for environmental pollution. Students, if you have any questions, you can clarify now.
Any questions? Students, any questions from your side?
Thank you for the technical
Yeah.
question, sir. Sir, I have got the questions from the students' side. So they have asked, what effect does air pollutants have on biodiversity?
What? affect air pollutant and biodiversity. So
Yeah, sir.
biodiversity, okay, biotic component of plant and plant is an important component of biodiversity. If air is polluted, I mean air is polluted, photosynthesis reaction will be stopped. If photosynthesis reaction will be stopped, it means completely damage biodiversity, because for plant only producer for all human beings and animal beings. So unless a plant, we won't get any type of food. So food chain will be completely stopped.
Thank you, sir. The next question is, does contemporary lifestyle supports biodiversity, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, sir.
Next,
Thank you so much, sir. The next question is, how the pollution affects species diversity?
how the pollution is species diversity.
How the pollution affects species diversity?
All pollution affects species biodiversity, ma'am, because environmental, if any pollution create a water or soil or a gas pollution creating, uh, all type of species will be affected. Human being, animal being. For example, if air is polluted, we won't get proper oxygen. Okay, we won't get proper oxygen, and similarly, plant not be, will not be getting carbon dioxide for their photosynthesis.
Thank you, sir.
Next.
Thank you so much. Over to Tejaswini.
Thanks for answering all the questions, sir. Thankfulness is the beginning of gratitude. Gratitude is the completion of thankfulness. Thankfulness may consist merely of words. Gratitude is shown in act.
Once again, my sincere thanks to the management, principal, webinar coordinators, and convener. My special thanks to all the participants for your excellent cooperation. Thank you all. Thank you so much for your excellent cooperation.
Thank you, sir. Dear participant, the feedback link has been posted in the chat box. Kindly fill it. Once you fill the feedback form, you will receive your certificate. Now I invite Dr. R. Renuka Devi, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemistry, to felicitate with the words of honor and deliver the oaths of thanks. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Tejaswani. Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all others. Myself, Dr. Renuka Devi Ravi, for the Department of Chemistry, Laila Institute of Technology, it gives me great pleasure and I deem it a great honor and privilege to propose the oath of thanks on this auspicious occasion. Special gratitude to God for making this event a great success with all good memories. I thank Administrator Reverend Sister Arul Selvi, Principal Dr. Sujata Anand Ma'am, Vice Principal Dr. Nalini Joseph Ma'am, and Convener cum Assistant Professor Mrs. Mognambal Ma'am for their consent and unstinted support towards this webinar that made a wonderful platform for young minds. My heartfelt thanks to heads of various departments and the faculty for their valuable suggestions and encouragement. I must mention deep sense of appreciation and gratitude to Dr. A. Kisan for valuable contribution of ideas, sharing his thoughts and opinion besides his busy schedule. Thank you for the valuable time, sir. I'm sure
Thank you so
students
much.
will Thank you, sir. I'm sure students will be able to enrich and recollect their knowledge on chapters which will be helpful for the examination, sir. I thank you for this wonderful technical day, sir. Last but not the least, I thank the young student community and all good hearts who work behind the screen for making this webinar a great success and a memorable one. I thank one and all for turning this webinar to be an outstanding event. Now, I have a special mention to my crew who have been working with their mind and soul for smooth outcome of this webinar. Without you people, this webinar would not be preciously organized one. So I thank my crew. Webinar hosted by Tejaswani of CSE, Bible reading by Jyotika of CSE, Lord's Prayer by Juhita of CSE, Welcome Address by Abhinay of Tripoli, Introduction by Jayashree of CSE, Invitation designed by Veerappan of CSE. So it's myself who designed the certificate, feedback form, and guided the crew. So thank you everyone. Focus on good so your life gets better. Think positive and vibrantly awesome. With this note, I wind up my vote of thanks. Over to Tejaswani.
Thank you, ma'am. Ends are not bad things. They just mean that something else is about to begin. And there are many things that don't really end anyway. They just begin again in a new way. My hearty thanks to everyone for the great success of the event. Stay safe, stay home, keep social distance. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you all. This is Dr. Renuka Devi Ravi, Assistant Professor for the Department of Science and Humanities, Loyola Institute of Technology. Signing off and hope to meet you all in another good event. Until then, hope good, spread good vibes. Thank you all. Once you fill your forms, feedback forms, and you'll get certificates. Thank you all, guys. Hope to see you in another good session. Thank you all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
Mohan number, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Renuka Devi, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.